Hey everybody, welcome to Dying Laughing. This is the official first episode. Last week was kind of like a trailer to get you into what we're talking about here on this podcast that I have recently given birth to. This is episode 1, Are You Grieving Wrong? If you've ever been told by someone that your loved one is in a better place, then this episode is for you. I've been told that many times as I sit here with my dead dad and his urn and my dead dog. And forgot to mention last episode when we were talking about ashes, I got a little bit of Nance in my necklace. So I've been told by every single person who's dead here, not told by them, but told by people who have heard that they died, that they're in a better place. It's like, oh, are they? Really, Becky? Are they in a better place? Like not being alive and with me is better? And who are you? Have you been there? Have you been to the afterlife? Did you find like a solid brunch spot with Beetlejuice and write a review on TripAdvisor? I mean, don't tell me where the better place is. I'm just saying if death is such a vacation, maybe people who say they're in a better place should book a fucking hotel. That's how I feel. The truth is, like, I don't even know if I was grieving right in the first place. Like, I just felt completely broken by it. I felt shattered. I felt ripped apart, like I didn't know who I was, and I didn't even know how depressed I was when I was grieving until a friend of mine, my friend Sarah, told me, I think you're depressed, and I was like, damn, wow, is it the constant gray sweatpants that I've been wearing for 4 years? Was that maybe the sign? Because grief is weird. It's like a magician. It's an emotional magician. One moment you're fine, and the next you're in a parking lot at a gas station, just crying into a breakfast burrito while you're eating it in the front seat of your car, not sure where you're going, Googling, does grief give you IBS? And it turns out it does, amongst a bunch of other symptoms that we don't even know about. Grief causes all sorts of disruptions. And no one talks about what grief actually looks like and what it dresses like. There's no poetic tears. There aren't grandiose ideas. You're completely in a fetal position in gray sheen outfits. There's no cute morning outfits. You're just in like things that have stains on them that haven't been washed. Not old stains, fresh stains. It looks like rock bottom. You're in a messy bun. You're in a coordinate set with every meal you've ever had on it splattered in some place, and you have Cheeto dust on your upper lip. That's what grief looks like. And sadness is like a terrifying thing for a lot of people. People are so afraid to be sad. And sadness is such a light term to describe how it feels while you're going through grief. But truly, sadness is like a place for growth. You don't realize it when you're in it, but it's like soil for rebirth, for emotional expansion, for the ability to come out on the other side anew. And you don't feel it when you're in it. You know? So when you ask yourself, why am I laughing right now? Should I feel worse? Should I be crying more? Am I doing this right? Am I a monster for not crying more? No, yes, maybe both. It doesn't matter, because how you grieve is your journey, and it's not the same for anyone. It's different for everyone. Grief makes everyone look different, feel different, and act different in every situation. So when you come across a person who you think is an asshole, they might have actually just lost someone they really love. So think about that. And culturally, we have rules. I'm an Italian American. I come from a long line of anxious Italians who believe in two things: shoving your feelings down and aggressively offering you meatballs instead of help. That's where I come from. And that doesn't really have a place for grief, although Italian Americans do have somewhat of a grieving process and a way that they grieve. And actually in Sicily, back in the day, they used to have professional mourners. They would have these people known as prefice in Italian. They're professional mourners who perform elaborate rituals and lamentations during funerals and other mourning ceremonies. They're hired to intensify the grieving process, usually using specific songs, cries, and stylized gestures. This practice is deeply rooted in the region's cultural history and is even seen as a way to honor the deceased and provide support for the bereaved. So if you ask yourself if you're grieving wrong, just remember there's some old Nona in Sicily who's getting paid at one to do a grief performance at someone's funeral she doesn't even know, and she's got to get out by 3 because she's got another booking in Milan. No one knows what they're doing. We're all phoning it in. We have no idea. I judged myself. I laughed at myself. I felt numb. I questioned if I was broken, if I was ever going to be put back together. And it's all okay, because grief brings you somewhere. It brings you to the place that you're going to be, the person you're going to be. And on the other side, it's actually not so horrible. You know, my family, we did tuck it down, and I have respect for these women that are hurling themselves at caskets in Sicily like it's telenovela. I feel like I might have a retirement plan. Who knew? There's work for me in my homeland. After all of this, after I'm done with the podcast, I'm going to Sicily and I'm crying, Luigi! Oh, Luigi! Oh no, Feliciano! Ah, Roberto! Oh no, they took Roberto! I think I fucking nail it. I'm as dramatic as they come. Hire me. I will be available, please. I'm gonna come cry on your freaking casket. It makes you vulnerable. Grief makes you so vulnerable. It's one of those things you don't even realize you're walking down an alley at night because you're so clouded by sadness and depression. I remember this one time I was hanging out on the ocean with my friend Sarah, same friend who said I looked depressed and felt like I was going through a bout of depression. Good friends tell you the hard truths. And we were at the ocean. It was recently after my dad had died. I had just gotten back from doing work in Lebanon. I was doing shows in Beirut, Lebanon. And I had purchased this necklace in Lebanon that was written in Arabic, and it had my dad's name, Youssef, in Arabic, in gold. My dad is not, he's Italian. My dad's from his family's from Palermo, Sicily. Why did I get it in gold Arabic? Again, grief is kooky, girl. It's kooky. I have no idea why. But I got it and I wore it and I'm at the beach. My friend Sarah's down at the shore letting me have a moment, and I come up to the side of the highway there, and this guy pulls up in a white van, already sketchy. He gets out of his white van and stands down near me, also observing the ocean. And I'm, to the naked eye, probably can't really tell, but if you get somewhat close, you could probably tell that I'm a little bereaved. I'm not well. There's a lot of people that are like that in Los Angeles. You're like, that person's not well. Are they crazy? Have they just lost someone? It's hard to tell. He probably could tell that I was a little vulnerable. And so he says something like, it's a beautiful day. And I was like, it's a beautiful day. You know, when you're going through grief, any conversation makes you want to cry. Any freaking conversation makes you want to cry. And so obviously this man's going to take advantage of that. Not that every men take advantage of situations. Most of you do. 90% of the world's homicide is caused by men. That's a different episode. But this man was just like, oh, yeah, it's a beautiful day. And he just turns and looks at me and says a couple other things, probably about the weather and something. He had broken English, and he goes, who's Joseph? And I was like, oh my God, my dad is here. My dad's spirit has connected through to this man who just pulled up in a white van, and he wants to connect with me. And I start bawling my eyes out and telling this guy my freaking life story. Told this guy everything. Told him everything about Joseph. All the things. And my friend could see that I'm having a conversation with this kooky looking guy. She comes up. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, this guy knows my dad. He knows my dad. She's like, okay, all right. Why don't we like go over here? So she pulls me away. I tell her the whole story, and she's like, did the guy have an accent? I said, yeah, a little bit of an accent. He did say Youssef. And she's like, now, Youssef, is that anything that reminds you of anything that you might be wearing right now? And I was like, what? What are you even talking about? My dad said hello through this stranger. How can you not acknowledge the beautiful, miraculous moment of the afterlife, of the spirit from beyond trying to connect with me? She goes, Jess, your necklace. And I was like, what? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it literally says your dad's name. And I was like, oh, you got me. You got me. So no, my dad probably didn't connect that day as much as that guy wanted to connect his pee-pee to one of my orifices. And maybe it was just a nice guy. Maybe it was my dad. Dubious. It was the necklace. So this episode, it's for all of us who've ever felt confused by grief, lost by grief, vulnerable by grief, and who have been made to feel like we're grieving wrong. So you're not. You're just grieving your own way. I want to talk about what proper grieving is, because somewhere along the way, we got the message that grief should be tidy, neat, clean, not messy, and, just very brief. There's ways to cry tastefully. You have to bounce back quickly. You have to go right back to work. Grieve, but don't make people uncomfortable. Cry, but not in public. Be sad, but not inconveniently sad. Don't bring it to the lunch table. Don't bring it to dinner. Don't talk about it. You feel awkward. You feel like you can't connect with people on a normal level. No one understands what you're going through because they haven't gone through it. And even the ones who have gone through it didn't lose Joe Peluso. They didn't lose Fozzie fucking Bear. This dog bit everybody he ever met. There's people walking around with literal scar tissue from this guy. Those people might understand. It's this type of thing where you have to get back to work in time and then try to be productive at work while you're crying at the water cooler. And then you have to deal with your boss telling you didn't turn the thing in on time. Yeah, I didn't turn the thing on time because my mom is gone forever. Isn't there some leniency when I get back to work? I only got 7 days off. I'm supposed to cry for a week and then that's it? Maybe it's enough for some people. But the fact is you become a ghost. I became a ghost in many cases. I became a ghost to my friends, my family, myself, my social life. I disappeared from group chats, from conversations, from friendships, from responsibilities in the name of a spiritual retreat and frozen pizza. That was the only thing that made me feel normal. But here's the truth. Grief isn't one size fits all. It's more like an emotional snuggie. It's unflattering, awkwardly big and consuming, and in some moments comforting. There's this weird comfort that comes with grief, and you feel guilty about it. Like, why do I feel good feeling sad? And it's weird, but it's also kind of necessary. I always say that while I was grieving my parents, I felt honor and I felt this sense of grace in the ability to have loved someone so much that I get to feel this extreme void because they're gone. Some people cry. Some people rage clean. You know how many times I have gone through and refolded sock drawers in color-coded closets? Multiple times I color-coded a fucking closet. I could have become a professional organizer during my grieviest moments in life. You do whatever you need to do. Some get horny. Some start podcasts. Some escape. Some become addicts. Some people don't make it. And the idea that you have and can be productively heartbroken, it's okay if you have to lose yourself in work. The reality is that grief doesn't go away. It evolves. It doesn't get smaller. Your life just gets bigger around it. So however you need to grieve is the way you need to grieve, because there is no proper way to grieve. And there can be a lot of cultural pressure. Everyone's got rules. And if you're Italian, baby girl, there's uniforms, all black. You gotta wear all black. You gotta make ziti. You gotta bring a ziti dish, lasagna, some meatballs. You gotta bring chicken parm, the best sandwich in the world, freaking chicken parm sandwich. And how long do Italians grieve? Forever. Absolutely forever. We're gonna grieve forever, and we're gonna wear black until 6 months in. Someone at the deli side-eyes you and asks if you're okay because you're dressed like a funeral director. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because Nancy's gone. She gone for good. She dead. Until that bitch decides to show up in Italy, which happened. I talked about that on the Acid for Squares podcast. If you're here from there, hello, welcome. Welcome to the podcast, the Comedy Death Doula at your service. Yeah, my mom showed up in Italy. I'm like, oh, look at this girl. I was sitting on a stoop up in Sorrento having an early morning cappuccino, reading a book called One Italian Summer by, I think, Rachel Searle. I can't remember her name. I got to look it up now because I feel bad not saying her name right. It was a book that I've mentioned, Rebecca Searle. And in this book, this girl takes a trip to Italy that she was supposed to take with her mother who dies. And it's a really beautiful story. It's a beautiful story about a girl discovering her mother in a new way, her dead mom. And I'm reading this book and I'm sitting on the stoop at this early morning time in Italy, Sorrento. It's beautiful. The birds are chirping. The streets are quiet because it's so early. And I put the book down and I literally say to myself, I just want to see my mom's face. That's it. I just want to see her face one more time because I miss her so much. And as I'm having this visceral desire, literally begging the universe to give me something, I look down in the street and there's one woman in the street. And for all I know, it's my mom. It was my mom. And every time I think about it, it makes me want to cry like a baby. She walked like her. She had a dress like her. She had a purse like her. Her shoulders were the same. She had the same clavicle. She had Nancy's clavicle. I know my mom's clavicle. Ask my sister about my mom's clavicle. My mom had a very pronounced clavicle. She had every feature of her from the side, the way the wind moved through her hair, the way my mom kind of had this little sachet in her walk and her strut. And I watched this woman and I watched her pass me and I was so locked in, and it was her. And I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care. I don't need anyone to justify it for me, to quantify it for me. I asked the universe to see my mom, and my mom showed up. And I'm bawling my eyes out. And I did have this one moment where I'm like, I have to go down to her. But then I realized that's not what this moment was for. This moment wasn't for me to get my mom back. This moment was for me to realize that I never lost her. That we don't actually lose our loved ones, and that they stay with us. And as painful as the grieving process is, it allows you to experience your loved ones in a new way, in a different way, in a very spiritual way. And as I'm looking at this woman walking down that was my mom, I was like, oh my God, she didn't die. She just took a trip to Italy. Nancy just took a vacation. Texted my sister like she ain't dead. She's on holiday without us. Apparently we were too much. This woman had to go and fake her death. But I did bawl my eyes out. I did see my mom. It was because of grief. I don't need scientific explanations. I don't give a fuck about what actually is going on in my mind, body, and soul to create that moment in imagery for me. All I know is what I felt, what I saw, and what it meant to me. And that wouldn't have happened without grief. And that's the hardest part, is the fact that they're gone, but then realizing they're there in just a new way. You know, our ancestors believed in not just grieving, but wearing grief, embodying grief, allowing it to flow through our body, marinating in it, having it teach us, having it sit us down and slow us down, having us look death in the face and not be afraid of it, and celebrate our loved ones in a new way. You find out new things about them when they're dead. From beyond, I learned my mom had a nickname called Giselle, and she would sell weed to her friends. Probably at a premium, knowing Nance. So as much as you might feel like you're in a vacuum with your grief and you're just deep in your sadness, there are so many different ways and pressures from society to grieve a certain way. And the reality is, you just fold right into it. Let it be what it is for you. And if you end up seeing your mom on vacation while you're in Italy, then that's your freaking journey. You know? Here I brought this with me to Italy. I brought it here today. It's ways, little ways that I like to keep them with me. Little grief tips. I'll give you a little grief tip. I like to keep my mom's Clinique eyeshadow. This is called Heather Pop. It's blush, and I didn't realize it was blush. I've been using this as eyeshadow. I haven't even read the bottom before. This is old. This is like a 10-year-old blush thing from Clinique, and I've kept it. I bring it with me everywhere. Anytime I do my makeup, I'll put a little bit on, and it makes me feel connected to her. I'm probably going to get pink eye from it. Well, it is a pink color, but I've literally worried about getting pink eye, but this is what I do to feel connected to her. And I also have from my dad, these are like little drink tokens from the Change of Pace. This is my dad's watering hole. And I won these the night of my dad's funeral. You know, that we'll get into in another episode, but I won these the night of my dad's funeral, and I haven't cashed them in yet because I'm waiting for a time to go. And that's the thing about life. There's no better time than now. So don't waste any time telling your loved ones you love them or cashing in your dad's drink tokens and going down and having a nice smash, as my dad would call them, at his favorite watering hole. I want to do some grief rules I'm breaking, kind of like Bill Maher's new rules, you know, because while I was going through the grieving process, I learned by reading the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual about mental illnesses, I believe is the breakdown. I probably butchered that. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition. That's what the 5 is for. And in an article from the New York Times a couple years ago, they added something called prolonged grief. In prolonged grief, according to this new addition to the Book of Mental Disorders, is anything over a year. Anything over a year. It says prolonged grief disorder, otherwise known as PGD, now included in the DSM-5, is diagnosed when distressing symptoms of grief persist for at least 12 months after the death of a close loved one, and these symptoms cause clinical significant distress or impairment. Now, obviously, there are levels to all of this. The diagnosis requires intense yearning, longing, and or preoccupation with thoughts or memories of the deceased, along with at least 3 other symptoms. I'm sorry, but this sounds just like a way for them to prescribe your normal process in life. Oh, so now you're going to give me a drug because my mom is dead? I don't need it. I don't need whatever you're going to prescribe. I got a box of wine and Fleetwood Mac on the record player. So I'm good. That's what I prescribed myself. It really infuriated me. Apparently, I'm diagnosably too sad. A year? Are you crazy? Let me tell you something that is a fact. Grief does not leave you. It stays with you. You grow around it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's no drug, there's no prescription that is in the pharmaceutical world that's going to cure that. Grief is not meant to be cured, it's meant to be felt. And the only way you can heal it is to feel it. And that's on God. So I wanted to make some new rules based off of what the cultural pressures of grief are, based off of how we think we should be grieving and if we feel like we're grieving wrong. So I'm going to make my new rules to make you guys feel like you're not wrong and you're okay and you are a person who is doing it the way you need to do. New rule number 1. If I cry during an Amazon delivery, I'm still a functional adult. You know how many times the Amazon delivery guy has shown up and been like, how you doing today? And you're like, actually, I'm okay. My mom died. I miss my dog. And no one told me that when someone dies, it brings up grief that is so freaking benign. I'm sad about everything. I'm sad that they don't make any more Full House episodes. I'm sad. I'm sad about everything. Someone asks how you are and you break down. So it's totally normal if you break down crying during any moment, especially an Amazon delivery. New rule number 2. If you make a dead dad joke at brunch and you laugh, that's consent. Okay? If you don't laugh, that's on you. But if I make a dead dad joke at brunch and I laugh, it's consent for you to laugh. Okay? Don't leave me alone. Don't leave me alone. My dad already left me alone. This is how I process. Please allow me to make dead dad jokes. I will make inappropriate jokes. I'm probably going to laugh at funerals. This is how I deal with sadness. Let it be. New rule number 3. If someone says they're in a better place, I reserve the right to say, cool, want to join them? Plenty of room. Can't promise which way you're going, up or down, but I can tell you I put a suggestion in. I can tell you I made my own suggestion because I know the delivery man. So enjoy. Hope you have a good trip. Make sure to leave a review. New rule number 4. You can grieve in a crop top. You can grieve in a Snuggie. Okay? There's no dress code. Grieve and wear what you need to wear. Grieving is ugly, and it can be cute, and it can be however you need it to be. I was in a messy bun and cotton for years. I remember one time I was doing a podcast, and somebody actually made a comment about how I looked. And they said, wow, it's nice to see Jessimae not in a sweatshirt looking like a homeless person for once. And I thought, oh, this is how I've been dressed this entire time. I had no idea. I had no idea that grieving and being in grief makes you look like a fucking bum. Okay? You can look like a fucking bum. New rule number 5. If you're in a Marshall's fitting room, take advantage of that. Let out some tears. Sometimes you have to force the steam a little. Okay? It's going to come in waves and you're going to be triggered. But if you're in a Marshall's fitting room, take advantage of the space and let it out. It's a great place to cry. Because afterwards you can go and buy off-shot and designer brands at a discount price. Does anything make you feel better? I don't think so. I feel like Marshall's should sponsor grief. I've gone there just to feel close to Nancy. I've gone in there when I've been sad and day drinking on rosé. And I'll go in and I'll go, Mom? And 8 women will respond. Marshall's is a great place to grieve. Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, best place. That should be a part of the process. Go to Marshall's. New rule number 5. You don't owe anyone a grief timeline. Not your job, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your wife, not your husband, not the DSM. Because let me tell you, the timeline is a lifetime. And it should be. I have these guys right here, and we're going to talk about them on the next episode. I've got pictures of my dad right here. I've got my mom right here. I put them by my door when I leave to remind me of the fragility of life and the fleeting nature of life. I've got them all right here. Oh, Jesus. Nancy's about to die again, only in picture form. You need a reminder that grief is an honor, and not all of us have the ability to grieve someone the way I have. Again, it's all personal. But if you ever had love or a relationship with someone that was so beautiful and amazing, and you were able to let them go and think about them and be sad and miss them, that's an honor. There's honor in that, and there's really a special connection that you maintain with them beyond. So I have them looking at me when I leave my house to remind me, I might die today. I might die today. And in LA, as much of a Grand Theft Auto experience that's a real thing. You could get killed by a squirrel out here. So everything is precious. And I guess what I want to say before we get out of here is, maybe there's no right way to grieve, is what we are learning from this episode. But there are a million people who are going to try and tell you that you're doing it wrong or what you should be doing. Oh, you know what you should do? You should go for a walk. You should take a dance class. You should call your friends. You should shut the fuck up. You should just shut the fuck up. Okay, Stace? Because your mom's still alive, and you don't even like her. I loved mine. Too sad, not sad enough, too messy, too numb, too loud, too much, not enough, staying home too often. Whatever it is, grief is a shape-shifting monster that shows up wearing your face, but slightly unhinged, unpredictable, and downright rude. It's a friend you got to let into your house and let it sit with you, because it won't stay forever. It won't stay, but you need to feel it. You need to serve it some cookies and tea and just let it be for a minute. It doesn't follow a rule book. It burns the rule book and throws the ashes in your face. That's what grief is. And if no one has told you this yet, however you're grieving, it's valid. However you need to do it. Oh, Mom? Is that my mom or my dad? I feel like that would be something my dad would do. You guys probably couldn't hear it, but something hit the wall behind me. You know, even if your grief is ugly, chaotic, if it involves a lot of cheese and Alanis Morissette songs like me, just Adele on repeat, even if it involves all of that, you're not broken. You're becoming. And that becoming is terrifying. You don't know who that person is. Who you meet on the other side of grief is a stranger, and it's you. And if you've laughed once today through the heaviness, that is healing. That is why I want to do this. That is the whole purpose, the whole point. That's dying laughing. And if you have a grief story, something crazy that happened to you, something funny, messy, whatever, I want to hear it. So make sure you either give me a phone call, 513-916-0930, or email me, jessimaepelusocomedy@gmail.com. Send me your grief stories, how you're grieving, how you're coping, weird, funny things that have happened. Tell me the time that you laughed in a casket showroom, screamed at some stupid sympathy card, whatever it is, I want to hear it. And I'll replay and read some of my favorites on the pod. You know, because I believe that grief deserves a punchline. I believe laughter should be a part of the grieving process. And I hope you guys connected with this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And if you could, please email me. Don't forget all of the things you have going on, Jessimae Peluso, comedy@gmail.com. The stuff no one talks about. Leave me a voicemail, 513-916-0930. I'm going to read my favorites, play my favorites, and leave a review. It'll help us be able to bring some more episodes to you guys on your Apple, right here on YouTube. Subscribe to this video, click like, thumbs up, share the video, all of that good stuff. And subscribe and share. And thank you guys so much. Bye.